Hey guys, it's Di from Being Mommy with Style, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about our Disney budget for our upcoming trip back to the most magical place on earth. So we're looking forward to our spring trip. We're hoping that it goes a little bit smoother this time, and there are going to be some changes, so that's why I wanted to do this video. I don't think that it's any secret by now that we really enjoy Disney as a vacation spot, and then also it works out really great because we do have two different grandparents that are down in Florida, and we see the grandparents when we're down there. We just kind of roll it into like a grandparent family visit trip as well. It just works out well in that scenario. But as far as the budgets, we did have a couple anomalies this time. So this may be ever the first time that you see and I want to use this term very loosely, okay? Because I realize like everyone's coming from a different spot. But this may be the most budget-minded Disney vacation that you guys see, which obviously we can already do Disney on a pretty good budget anyways because we don't have the hotel cost. So when you look at my notes here, hotel is null. So that right off the bat helps a ton. So there's a wide range for hotels that you can spend, and for us it's null because we can stay with family that lives right down the road from Disney World, and it's very, very easy, and that works. So that part is like always on budget for us. But this time around we had a couple anomalies kind of happen in life, as life tends to happen, but we went ahead and decided to go ahead and go on vacation because we already had it planned. My husband already had the time blocked off from work. He's just started a new job, so things might start going crazy with that. And also you know, it wasn't like we have the money set aside. It wasn't like, you know, we weren't able to budget for the trip, but we had some massive tax bills that were a little bit higher than we thought they were going to be. And so we had a lot of money just kind of scooting right out the door at one time. Now, that being said, I mean, I'm very grateful, and we're fortunate that we could just take it out of savings, and it was what it was. And I'm not sitting here saying like I'm panicked because we can't pay our tax bills and we're not going to Disney World. So thankfully that's not the scenario. But when you see that large of a chunk of money, we ended up paying our real estate taxes, which we shouldn't have had to pay, but it's a long story. We ended up paying our real estate taxes and a couple different separate tax bills that we owed all at one time, which amounted to about $7 grand walking out the door at one time. So this is most definitely going to be a budget-minded Disney trip from us, and my goal is to kind of keep it under $4 grand, which I think should be very doable. This time around, we are not going to be doing as many meals and character meals and advanced dining reservations twofold. One, it helps out with the money aspect, of course, but then two, last time, if you guys watched our November trip, we had a lot of stuff, a lot of days where we had multiple reservations in one day. It just felt like a lot. So we're gonna go try to have fun this time. We've got a beach day planned, so it's exciting. So first of all, let me start by saying we are going to the beach one day, so there's gonna be a beach day again. I'm very excited about that part. And I'm also excited about going back during Flower and Garden. So let me get to the budget before I just start talking about the trip. Anyhow, so right off the bat, there was two set costs that I really couldn't find any way to work around. Of course, park tickets, that's a set cost unless you have some sort of discount that you get, but just in general, there's not a lot out there for the park tickets. So for 4-day tickets for a family of 4, where it's 2 children and 2 adults, it's $12.60 now plus taxes. So with taxes, our tickets were like $13 something. So that was just kind of a set cost that you always go into it knowing you're going to be laying out around that amount of money for Walt Disney World tickets. For the plane ride was very stressful this time. So finding a plane flight was very stressful. We have one now. I have been looking at tickets for spring break since we went in November. I've literally been watching tickets that long. Tickets started out astronomical and they slowly dropped, but they did not drop as much as I hoped they would. And it was to the point that at one point, if they didn't drop, we weren't going to be going because we weren't going to be paying $4 grand for just plane tickets. Because to me, that's a little crazy. But they finally dropped enough to where it got it down to where the plane tickets were like in the 1,400 range, and that's when I grabbed them. It was literally like not that far out from when they were. It's making me very nervous to still see plane flights at like $700-800 per person. And, you know, we were starting to get very close. This is the shortest amount of time I've ever bought with plane tickets with them. We'll put it that way. So I was starting to get nervous that the plane tickets were going to make it to where we couldn't go, because spending $3,000-4,000 on plane tickets right after we just lay out all this money out of our savings for the tax stuff was just not feasible this time. So trying to be fiscally responsible. But anyhow, we ended up getting the plane tickets. I got them at one of the lowest points that I saw them. I did see one other time where they were slightly below, but about $1,400, which is better than the $1,000 per person that they started out at. And that's for our whole family of 4 to fly. This time around, we're planning on spending for food, probably realistically between $800 and $1,000, which will be lower than our last trip, which was probably in the 13 to 15 range because we had so many dining reservations. So for a family of 4, and I occasionally pay for other people, but for a family of 4, I'm estimating around $800 to $1,000 this time. Cinderella's Royal Table is booked and it's already paid for, so I don't have to worry about that. And then other than that, we just have a couple ADRs, and all the rest of this stuff is just going to be as we go. And that tends to be a little bit cheaper than paying like $150 a meal. So all in all, we should be able to keep food costs between $800 and $1,000, no problem. We are doing Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Both girls are doing it, so that's a couple $100, but totally worth it. And then also rental car. I had an amazing deal on a rental car, all worked out for the original dates we were going to fly, but those original dates stayed astronomical prices, so I ended up having to move our rental car to different dates, and the price was not quite as good. So the rental car originally was like $200. I had to rent it for $600, but it was cheaper than paying $4,000 for plane flights, so we went with the more expensive rental car. So if you tally this all up, which I haven't, but if you tally it all up, it's hotel zero, tickets are around $1,300, plane tickets were around $1,400, so that's $27. Food, I'm going to try to keep under $1,000, and then all the miscellaneous things like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, rental car, and that sort of thing should hopefully all come in under $4,000. So that's my plan this time. And obviously, if you don't fly, you can save a lot of money. So that's why I said at the beginning, this is like, I want to use the term budget Disney trip very loosely because we're not driving. So if you did drive or you live close enough to drive, you could save a lot of money there where you don't have to do the plane tickets. There's different ways to get a little bit less on the tickets, but I'm not willing to jump all those hoops. So I ordered tickets online and had them mailed to us. And then food, of course, if you don't do any advanced dining reservations at all and you bring food into the parks with you, you can save a lot. For us, it'll probably be a mix this time. We'll probably bring in some snacks. We'll probably get some things there that are quick service. We'll have a couple meals, and all in all, when it comes out in the wash, this trip should be a little bit more expensive than our last one. So that's kind of the deal with what's going on. So I want to use the term like budget Disney trip very loosely because I realize that there is probably a lot more people out there that do better at like getting it like to go to Disney for like $2,000 for a family of 4. I have not figured out how to go to Disney for $2,000, and I have someone's house that I stay at. But that being said, we also live a really far distance away and we have to fly. There is no question about that. We would not make it if we sat in a car that long. So that's our plan for our budget this time around. It was just kind of really unfortunate timing with, we had tons of anomalies happen this past year with taxes that I'm hoping don't happen again. It was just one of those things where it was what it was. So that is what our Disney budget is looking like this trip around. I'm still thinking we're gonna have a super great time. Oh, customs, I didn't talk about this. So the customs I ordered the girls a couple years ago, Natalie's starting to grow into the ones I ordered for Isabella, and Isabella really needs very minimal at this point. I did order 2 things for Isabella, which I didn't have to, but that came in at $100, so it's kind of a negligible amount. So if you are looking for the custom clothing and you're wanting to do that more on a budget, there are a lot of resale groups out there. If you look on Facebook for Disney clothing resale and things like that, you can find some really cute items. I've seen tons of stuff at Target recently on clearance. So there's a lot of different options out there that you don't have to do like super expensive customs and things like that. We have honestly, I bought a number of customs right before our first trip. Those have lasted every single trip. So it's one of those things where if you know you're going to be going multiple times and your kids grow at a rate where they pretty much fit in things for multiple sizes, a lot of the skirts still fit from the first time that I bought them, and I've just had to buy larger size shirts for the girls. So for instance, Natalie, I bought her a set in 18 months that was a Cinderella set that was like her first custom set. And so I've just occasionally bought her new Cinderella shirts as she grew, and the skirt literally still fits her because she's shorter. So the customs for us, once you kind of spread that cost out over all the trips, that was how that cost, you know, there's a lot of upfront cost, but the cost really gets less as you go on because you don't need as much. So they have custom outfits for every single day, but I spent less than $100 on clothing, and I really didn't even have to do that. I just did that because Bella wanted a specific character shirt that she didn't have yet, so I got that for her. And also I upsized their Animal Kingdom dresses that they wear at Animal Kingdom all the time. That's one of our favorites. And the girls, both the dresses were starting to get tight, so what I did was I'm gonna hand down Bella's to Natalie. I got a bigger size for Bella, and then I just keep passing things down. So that's the plan with the custom. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, since that's something that you guys probably see in our videos and that sort of thing. So not a huge cost this trip, and there are ways to do that more on a budget if that's something you're wanting to do, but you're trying to stay within a budget. So that is it for today. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.